So I thought I had barely anything for this video, but turns out the June list is the longest of them all, so let's get started. Hey world! Yeah, it's the end of June, so it's the June wrap up. What more to say? Let's start. Yeah, the first 3 books I read were obviously Carry On by Rowell, Openly Straight by Konigsberg, and Every Day by David Levithan, all of which I read for the hashtag AYearathon, and the link to the whole video of that where I talk about them in detail will be here and in the down bar below. But to sum it up, I can really recommend Every Day. Yeah, it gives you insight on various topics, but always only a little bit, and then quite emotional. Openly Straight is also a really great book. I'm actually writing an essay about it now. And it's about a gay boy who decides not to be gay anymore. Obviously he doesn't decide not to be gay anymore, but he wants to get rid of his label to be seen as more than just the gay boy. And I think it's really interesting to see this change of his life when he kind of gets rid of his label, and also the discoveries he makes within this story. And then Carry On by Rowell was basically just really funny, really cute, really sad, really different from what I expected. But I would still really recommend it, and I would also recommend, as I said in the other video, to read this prequel kind of, which is Fangirl by Rowell, and also of course the Harry Potter books, because this is a sort of fanfiction from Joey. Talking about it, I also read Harry Potter, obviously. For those of you who do not know, I have never read the Harry Potter series in my entire life. And I know it's horrible. So I decided that this year I would read 1 Harry Potter book each month. And that means that I'm now at the 6th part, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I am done now. And I really liked it. Yeah. I'm kind of sad that it's over at the end of next month. Like, I now get why people say they wish they could read it for the first time again. J.K. Rowling's writing style is really great. It's a lot more adult now than it was in the first books, which I really appreciate. Of course I also watched the movie because I want to get a direct comparison. First of all, we don't have the start where Dumbledore comes to the Dursleys, and I'm not a great fan of Dumbledore throughout the whole series, but in this beginning, where he is just so sassy and so like funny, I kind of started to like him, so it was kind of sad that it wasn't there. What also wasn't there was the kind of annoying Fleur and her relationship with Bill, which I would have loved to see, as well as the kind of relationship problems between Tonks and Lupin, which I also would have loved to see, because Tonks and Lupin are 2 of my favorite people from the entire series, and I enjoyed reading about them so much in the books. In the beginning of the month I actually watched The Danish Girl, which is now one of my favorite movies of all time. Let me just say that actor is perfect for that role. I obviously can't remember his name, why would I? But his facial expression is so delicate and honest. The Danish Girl is basically about the first transgender operation, and it's a true story, which is, yeah, it makes it even more emotional. On the other hand, Carol, I've heard so many great things about it. It was a good movie, like I was glad I saw it, but I was a bit let down. The way I would describe Carol is a beautiful constellation of pictures, of images. Because you could basically pause the movie at any point, print out the screenshot and make it a wallpaper, because it's just beautiful. And the music is really great as well. Of course, I also was interested in the story. It's about a lesbian relationship in the time where it wasn't okay. I think it's in the 50s. I just think that it focused more on like the filmic or the cinematic aspect, and less on the story itself, and therefore we didn't really get to know the characters. Then I also watched 2 TV shows, both from Marvel. Yes. The first one is Jessica Jones. Now I finished the whole first season and it is perfect. Like, I was a bit worried about how they would end all of this, and I think they found a really good conclusion and a really logical end. So yeah, and Jessica Jones is just a gigantic world full of references to all the other Marvel stuff, which I really love. And the other show I watched is Daredevil, also the first season. There already is a second season, but I haven't watched that yet. I actually didn't want to watch Daredevil that badly. I did watch the whole first season, and I'm gonna watch the second season just because it's Marvel and I need to know what happens. I do really enjoy the side characters, and some of the dialogue is really funny and like clever, but as I said, the idea in general isn't really my cup of tea. Then I also watched 2 Nicholas Sparks movies, one of which I forgot the name. It's the new one, with the guy and the girl, and she's into art and he's into rodeo, and they fall in love and everything's perfect. And the other one was The Notebook, which is about 2 star-crossed lovers who can't be together because he's so poor and she's so rich, and I really loved it as well. Just, they are the cliche Nicholas Sparks movies. Yeah, they're just kind of chick flicks. But I do really like them, so whatever. And then I watched The Maze Runner Part 1 and 2, and I think I like them. I like the setting of it and the idea and the general storyline. I also think that the actors are just on point. It is quite a lot like The Hunger Games and Divergent and all of that. But I think that's okay. Like, I mean, criticizing our society, and I think there can never be enough of that. And the last movie I watched was The Martian, which was just as funny as everyone said it would be. For those of you who do not know, The Martian is about these astronauts on Mars who have to leave quickly, and one of them gets left behind because they think he died, but he didn't. And so he's alone on Mars and he has to survive on his own and has to kind of contact the Earth and make them save him. And it's such a dramatic storyline, but it's so funny. And also the music was just great. It's basically just disco all along. In the end, I just want to mention this because I'm probably gonna finish this in June. But as you may be able to tell, I'm only a few pages in. This is the book A Long Way Down by Nick Hornby, however you pronounce his name. And I've already watched the movie of this. It's why I bought the book. And it's about these 4 people who meet on the top of a skyscraper on New Year's Eve, and they all want to commit suicide. And then, because they meet there, they decide that they would stay together and make it at least till Valentine's Day. And again, as with The Martian, it sounds like a really dramatic and sad and depressing story, but it's just so funny. Like, it's so awkwardly hilarious. And of course there are some really deep passages and some really like existential topics and stuff, but altogether it's just really hilarious. So yeah, that's it for the June wrap up. It was quite a bunch, but I think we managed. As per usual, let me know what you read and watched this month and whether you liked it or not. I always like some recommendations, and maybe from what I've shown you, you can tell what my taste is. I hope you always have a reason to smile, and I shall see you next week. Goodbye!